In this video, we're going to be learning how to make a cowl kaftan, and this is so simple to make. So if this is what you're interested to learn how to do, please stay tuned and watch to the end of this video. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe as you do this. So let's get started. So to sew this kaftan, you have to have about 2.5 yards of material least, but most importantly, if you have up to 3 yards, that's very perfect. So me, I'm working with 3 yards. Now I folded into 4. You can see that I left about 1 inch at the front. That part where I left 1 inch is the front of my gown, because I want this kaftan to have a slit in the front, so it's going to be joining. You can see when we're starting this video, there's some hard, colorful designs in the front. That's totally optional. If you want yours to have that, that's okay. Now I went ahead and marked 1 inch for my back neck and 3 inches for my neck width. Okay, my neck depth for the back is 1 inch. Now I want to calculate or mark the front neck, and I'll be working with 6 inches. You can do as much as you want, all right, but I'm working with just 6 inches for my front, and then I notched the part where when I flip it over I can notch my front, okay, because I can only notch my back at this moment. All right, I hope this is clear. Now you can go ahead and mark your shoulder, but that's very irrelevant, because at this point, or at this gown that we're sewing, we don't need a shoulder measurement. All right, so I'm going to, once you mark your neck width and your neck depth, all you have to do is to go back and to the end of your fabric, whatever material you're using, whatever width you're using. Okay, like I'm using 3 inches, you can use 2.5, okay, depending on your size. All right, and but this is okay for for any body size. And you can see what I have as my width after that part is 25 inches. So the width of this material is just 25 inches on fold. Now I came down and I marked 5 inches. Okay, that will be my shoulder slant. You can do as much as you want, but me, I would advise 5 inches. Okay, and then you can also do less than 5 inches depending on what you want. Okay, now once you have marked your shoulder slant, you have done almost half of the job. You can see that this is very simple to do. All you have to do is to fold it into two. Now I'm measuring the wrist measurement. Okay, my sleeve, the roundness of my sleeve, okay, and I got 11. I divided by 2, and then that point is where I'll be marking my sleeve measurement plus half inch. So I have 5.5 plus half inch 6. I marked at 6 inches. Now I'll be measuring out the length of my gown, where I want the slit to begin and where I want this cowl to start falling from. All right, this cowl pattern, where I want it to start falling from. So at 33 or at 34, I'll be marking depending on the length of your whole kaftan gown. Me, I'm using the length of 45. I'm using the full Ankara length. All right, so you can see that I marked at 33 inches. You can mark at 33, 34, depending on your size or on the length of what you want. Now at this point where you marked your 33, you are going to be placing your hip measurement, that's the rest of your body measurement plus sewing allowance. All right, if your hip is about 40, you can mark at 10 plus sewing allowance 12. All right, so I just marked mine because I'm continuing. It's just assuming that you are starting from that point to mark your hip measurement. So at this point to the end of the fabric, please mark your hip measurement plus sewing allowance. All right, I'll make sure that the measurements you're working with would allow you to work. Okay, you can even use as much as, please watch as I'm drawing this pattern while I explain this. I'm drawing the shape of the cowl pattern on my fabric, okay, so that this fabric will fall as desired. Now for this point, you can also, I decided to use my hip allowance, my hip measurement. You can decide to use extra 4 inches at that point if you don't want yours to be fitted at the lower part of this gown. All right, so it's totally optional, but me, I preferred something fitted at that lower side. Okay, and that's the actual size style of this gown. But if you want to differ a bit, you can still move around wherever is more comfortable for you to work with. Now I'm still going around and cutting out all the marked areas that I had already marked earlier. Now for the front, I will connect it. Don't forget that 1 inch is there, so I'm going to be connecting just this way. Very simple. Now you can do a v-neck, you can actually do a round neck if you want, but me, I just decided to work with this v-neck. Okay, and it's not even actually hard. So this is it. I'm going to be joining at this point. Now watch, I'm going to join at this point down, okay, till about 7 inches or more, depending on what you how you want your sleeve to look like. Okay, now you don't join the whole fabric unless you just want yours to be like that as well. Now I went ahead and cut I am cutting out a turnover for my front neck and for my back neck. This is what I'll use to turn my fabric over. Okay, it's very simple. There is no hard mass in this doing this part. Okay, all you have to do is just to fold a piece of fabric. You can see there is a left over fabric that I'm using to do this, so you have to just fold a piece of fabric and then cut it out just this way. Simple, just to help me turn this fabric over. If you want to use a bias, that's totally optional. If you want to use a long fabric, it's totally optional. So this is me. I have already stitched this up, and I left about at that point where I have 7 inches. I stopped at that point. Okay, now for the lower part, I want it to have a slit. I measured to ensure that I have up to 7 inches. Do what works for you, or do what style you want to do. So I'm going to be sewing this up, okay, so that I will turn it out. That's just the simple way of turning it over. So I just did the same thing for the front, and then I notched it and then turned it over. I'm going to quickly show you how to join this part. Now after turning over the back neck as well, please don't forget to turn over the back neck. Then you will now sew all the way from this point all the way down. Don't forget to turn out your sleeve area. Okay, you have to fold it in this way, or you can even fold it 2 times, all right, so that you can run your stitch on top of it. And at that point that you notched as the width of the sleeve, you also sew from that point down. Okay, and when you are done, please look at my own back neck. I already turned it over. Ensure that you turn yours out. Okay, and then you can use your iron and give it a good press. Now for the shoulder area, to turn this out, don't forget that you would also place one on top of each other and then fold it in like this before you sew all the way down to your sleeve area. Okay, please ensure that you do it this way. Okay, and then you do the same thing for the other side as well. Flip over, then sew all the way down. Okay, now I want to show you clearly how to sew. When you're done, sew from this point all the way down to that area. And this is all for this video. Stay tuned for more videos.